Now, joining us in the studio is the General Secretary of the Public Service Workers Union, Bernard Adjei. Mr. Adjei, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So why are you on strike? Why are you not working?
Well, so in our publication, we've indicated that we are dealing with the fair wages as the law requires in terms of negotiations for institution-specific allowances for our members. We have 70 institutions, public institutions that are members of the Public Services Workers Union, and about 45 of them subsist on the single spine salary structure.
And they are all your members?
They are all our members.
45
public institutions. And therefore, we negotiate both for their salaries and then conditions of, other conditions of service, including what we call institution-specific allowances.
Okay.
So we have written to the fair wages. We are in negotiations. Due to the growing disparities that have arisen in the public salary administration, we have written for certain allowances to be paid. And we are embarking on this strike because of the delays and preferential treatment that are offered to other public institutions.
Can you specify the allowances you are demanding?
We are demanding government support services allowance and then public services administration equity allowance.
What does that mean?
Yes, as I indicated, a lot of, when a single spine came into being, public institutions were grouped into what we call service classification.
Right.
And some of these institution-specific allowances were to be negotiated in the service classification. So if you have institutions that are in a particular service classification, it only means that the skills required for the job, the qualification, expertise, and everything are almost similar. And therefore, certain things and allowances are supposed to be run through those institutions. What we found out is that institution-specific allowances have been granted to other public institutions, those service classification, to the exclusion of the public service organization.
Right.
And when you go in to request for it, they tell you you don't deserve that. And you wonder why you don't deserve it when other people within the service classification are having it. So then they resort to the strategy of delay. So you go for meetings, they tell you, well, we don't have mandate, you hear from us in a fortnight.
The fair wages.
The fair wages, yes.
Don't have mandate.
You go and 3 months they've not called you. You push, when you threaten strike, they call you, they sit down with you.
But the same fair wages says that you don't qualify for the allowance. And yet they are meeting with you?
Well, so the point, sometimes that's the irony. And sometimes we even believe that the way they are going about the single spine defeats the purpose for which the single spine was established. And that's what has caused the disparities and the inequities, because that is what the single spine was supposed to solve.
Right.
And then harmonize allowances in the public sector. We found out now that all those things have come back. And to tell you the truth, being in the industry, the single spine now is a fiasco. Yeah, it has failed woefully. And in April 2022, we agreed with government that we should establish a 9-member committee to review it, which was established. So it was supposed to work within 3 months and submit its report. We are in October 2024. We don't know where the report is. Nobody is giving us any information. You ask and it's like they don't know. And rather, we hear fair wages trying to do new salary structure for other public sector organizations. I mean, that is not fair, and that's not how to run a fair and transparent salary.
So in the absence of the allowances that you are asking that you are paid, how is that affecting your output?
Oh, well, people are not being remunerated for the job they are performing. And those who have not been, are being remunerated even, you don't have what we call equal pay for work of equal value. It's not there. So a lot of public sector workers, including our members, are very disgruntled. They are not happy about how they are being treated, that they toil and they sacrifice, they work as patriotic citizens of this country, but at the end of the day, they are not well remunerated. And of course, it's impacting on their work. If you have school fees to pay, if you have rent to pay, if you have hospital bills to attend to, and you are working, and you are not getting what you are expecting. In this economy we have, obviously, you should know that it's impacting on people's mental health, it's impacting on their output. They are at work, they are not happy. even though they are killing themselves to work for the
Mr. Adjei, for how long have you been on this road with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission?
Well, so that is it. We've had the Fair Wages put out some statement that it was only on the 19th of September that we started.
Absolutely.
No, as I indicated, we have so many institutions. And per the way the arrangement with the Fair Wages is and the way they deal with us, we couldn't, of course, go with all the 45. So you take each organization and we negotiate separately.
It was not a unified...
And for some organization, and the records are there, I brought it, you submit proposal as far back as May 2022. Mm-hmm. And as I speak to you, we have not concluded.
Over 2 years.
Over 2 years. There are a number of institutions like that. So what we decided to do in September 2019 was now to put all our institutions together so that you see that we are a strong union with all these institutions. So the fact that we are coming to you one at a time should not make you think that we are not relevant, and therefore you delay negotiations for 2 years when the allowances are supposed to last for 2 years. So it's been 4 years since we reviewed some people's allowances. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine what has happened to the allowance due to the erosion of the CD and all that. So all we did in September 19 was then to put all these organizations together, including even those we are here to submit proposals that, look, deal with us and give these two allowances in the interim. Then we can look at how to solve the problem.
So now, as we speak, you are not negotiating separately, or you've harmonized all of them?
Yes, and we are asking for these two allowances. One, to correct the inequities and disparities that has come about due to the way the Fair Wages have handled allowance negotiations in this country, and the fact that the committee that was set up to review the single spine to correct the issue of low pay and low salaries in the public sector have also...
But the entities under you are not the same. So obviously, in terms of negotiation, it cannot be a uniform, approval for all, because work model are different from one entity to the other.
Exactly.
So when you do negotiation en bloc, clearly...
Exactly. We are talking about the institution's specific allowances for the service classifications.
Okay.
So one of the service classifications you have is, for instance, public policy, planning, service administration, and related services. A number of my institutions fall within that. The NCCs, the Electoral Commission, even CLOSAG members, and all, they fall under this. Most of them fall under this service category. And I've told you that the reason why we had a service category is because the job functions, the skills required, the duties, and the job scheduling, as you have mentioned, for some of these institutions are similar.
Right.
And therefore, when you do the negotiation, you should know that, oh, if this institution deserves this allowance, then this one too, they are performing the same job. A typical example is the tertiary research science service category, where we have the universities, we have the GAI, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, which are members of the PSWU, and the CSIR, because they are scientific and research institutions. So, for instance, they do research. So if you are paying book allowance, for instance, to the universities because of the research they do, it goes without saying it must benefit them. Well. Now, there are some allowances which you have given some of the groups, and you decide to deny those other groups in that service classification. And some of those who are being denied happen to be members of the public services.
And that's why we're raising the issue of
unfairness, exactly.
of the law.
Exactly.
The Labour Commission says that they cannot negotiate whilst you are on strike. But my understanding is that workers of the Labour Commission itself are members of your group, and they are supposed to be striking.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that is a principle. You see, when you have principles, you must do things that will make your principle relevant. You understand? You don't do things to disadvantage people, and you begin to use principles and laws to stifle the people. I am telling you, if today we are called, and what we are offered is fair relative to what other people are.
You call off.
Our interest is not to sit home and not go to work. We love our jobs. And I'm telling you on authority that there are most of our members go to the GBCs, the NCCs, and who use their own money. The little salary they earn, they use their own money sometimes to perform official duties. And I dare you, the media, to go down and do some of this investigative journalism and inform the public so that it doesn't look like workers are being unreasonable.
Okay.
But workers use their own money to perform official duties.
But in Kumasi, some appears to be working, even though you've declared a strike.
Well, so you can expect that there will be a few people who, for whatever reason, may want to take certain actions. But the fact is that, so far as we are concerned, majority of our members are, and these people you are saying are even going, I can tell you for a fact that they also want some of these allowances. And when we are successful, they will be the beneficiaries. It is so serious that you can have two people in the same organization, and that's a typical situation in Lands Commission, where we have two major unions, the PSWU and POSAG. You can go there, you find two people, the same qualification, the same position, the same job schedule.
Right.
They all come to work the same time, leave the same time. But the one who belongs to PSW is being denied the allowance.
Because of
why?
what?
Because he belongs to PSW. And the one who belongs to the other union is being paid that allowance to the tune of almost 53%.
53%?
Yes, of their basic salary. So what are we talking about? I think we should do things properly in this country. And the fair wages, we've dealt with them over the years since the fair wages was established. And I must say it's very despicable how they do some of these negotiations now. And there's no way you can explain that two people, the same qualification, same organization, same number of years of experience, same job, are being treated differently.
Is your strike the reason why there was no weather forecast today?
Well, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. Because GMET is also part of the Public Services Workers Union.
So until your demands are resolved, you will continue to be on strike?
We will continue to be on strike. And what we are doing is, if anybody thinks that, okay, we should ignore these people, they don't have a case, the other public service institutions, including the GRAs, the airport, civil aviation, VRA, they will all join solidarity strike. Because, I mean, we are workers, therefore, if you cheat any worker or you treat any worker wrongly, other workers are conscious of it. Because if they don't support their colleagues for them to be treated fairly and their rights respected, after they deal with their colleagues, they will come after them. So we are all together. For now, they are out. Those on the single spine have embarked on this action.
We have an election coming up, and workers of the Electoral Commission, for now, they've also joined the strike.
Yes, and the workers of Electoral Commission also deserve, better condition of service. They deserve their own salary structure, just as Fair Wages is doing for other public sector institutions.
Okay. Mr. Adjei, let's leave it here, and we'll monitor the strike action that you declared, and that started last week. Well.